General condition for foreigners to work in Turkey and obtaining work permit. Foreigners have the right to work in Turkey within the framework of international law. Benefiting from the fundamental right in the Turkish constitution by foreigners is subject to certain restrictions in accordance with international law. So, we will convey the most frequently asked question about the subject, such as the condition required for foreigners to benefit from the right to work in Turkey, the procedure to be followed, the necessary application and document, foreigners who need and do not need a work permit. What limitation are foreigners' right to work subject to? General rules regarding the employment of foreigners in Turkey are regulated in the international labor law. According to this law, the employment of foreigners in Turkey is conditional upon obtaining a work permit from the competent authority. Persons who have obtained a work permit or are exempted from a work permit by law can work in Turkey and benefit from social security rights related to the right to work. A foreigner cannot work in Turkey without obtaining the necessary work permit. It is forbidden to operate and is subject to administrative fine. Foreigners are not allowed to work in some sectors and occupation. Which authority is competent to grant work permit? The competent authority in the work permit application process is the Ministry of Family, Labor and Social Security. What are the types of work permits? Temporary work permit. According to the international labor law, a foreigner whose work permit application is evaluated positively is given a maximum of 1 year work permit at the first application. With a temporary work permit, the foreigner can work in a certain job in a specific workplace belonging to a real or legal person or public institution or organization or in their workplaces in the same business line. If the foreigner applies for an extension of the work limit with the same employer and is positive, the first extension period is a maximum of 2 years. In the next extension application, it will be 3 years at the most. Indefinite work permit. Foreigners who have a long-term residence permit or a work permit for at least 8 years in Turkey can apply for an indefinite work permit. However, it is not enough for the foreigner to meet the application requirement alone. The ministry has the discretion to grant an indefinite work permit. A foreigner who has an indefinite work permit can benefit from all the rights enjoyed by a long-term residence permit. Independent work permit. Professional foreigners can be granted an independent work permit provided that the special conditions specified in other laws are met. Turquoise Card. Turquoise Card is given to foreigners whose application is deemed appropriate in accordance with the procedures and principles determined by the Ministry. Thanks to the positive contribution of their activity or investment in Turkey to the country's economy and employment for reasons such as their contribution to science and technology, education, professional experience, and capital share if they are a foreign company partner. How to apply for a work permit? Work permit application can be made in two ways, from abroad or domestically. The fundamental is the application from abroad. In order to be able to apply from within the country, the foreigner must have a valid resident permit for at least 6 months. Attention, considering that the work permit mostly provide the right of residence in Turkish law, it may be more advantageous to apply from abroad in order not to increase the number of bureaucratic procedures to be made. However, it is convenient to carry out all application by proxy, by first obtaining a short-term resident permit and then applying for a work permit from Turkey through the person you will authorize by proxy. Since the advantage in this matter will vary according to your sector or foreign investor qualification, you can ask our expert team to help you by identifying the most practical and advantageous way for you and informing you. The Turkish foreign representative and the ministry follow up the work permit application to be made from abroad in electric environment. What the foreigner has to do is to apply to the Turkish consulate in the country where he or she is a citizen or legally located, with an employment contract, assignment letter, or document showing the company partnership. Thank you.